Welcome to Tanya definitions. We're defining Tanya. We're up to ois hey. Okay, this is a hard one. Just in time. Harav Yitzikat HaKohen. Hu Hayodea, Hu Madam, Hu Adea. Yeah, famous quote from the Rambam, and he brings it in Tanya in a few places. I think three places maybe. Yeah, what does it mean that he is the one who Hayodea? He is the one who knows. Who are no, sorry, who are Yodeya? Yeah, the one who knows. Who are Mada, the thing that is known, the Hadeya, and the ability to know, all simultaneously. One of the Rebbe says, and in the name of the Rambam, that one of the possibly the main differences between us and God is that in man, these
Good.
things are separate. There's the one who knows, there's what he knows, and then there's the power of knowledge, the ability to know. The one who knows what is known and the ability to know. In man, that's all separate. They're three distinct entities. In God, it's all one. And this is really how do you say it? Aristotelian. Yeah, Aristotelian, something like that. Yeah, this is from Aristotle, really. Um, and the way I've understood it is like this: that there's a great mushroom to explain this. Right now, I'm looking at my screen. Yeah, you happen to be on my screen, but right now I'm looking at my screen. There's me, there's my ability to see, and then there's the screen. That's three distinct things. Me, my ability to see, and the screen. Without any one of those three things, there'd be nothing doing. So in man, our concept of knowing is in that regard. There's me, who is the one who knows. Then there's my ability to know, and there's the thing that I know. Those are three separate things. And like we said, the moshel is there's me looking at the screen. So there's me, the ability to see, and the screen. The way it works from a Shem's perspective, how I've understood it, is when you're cold. When you're cold or hot, there isn't me, the ability to feel cold, and then the cold. There's just a oneness. And you would say, I am cold. You would say, I feel cold, but it's different. When you're cold, it's you that's cold. It's not like when you see something. When I'm seeing something, it's something separate from me. Remember, this is all just a model. So the way you experience your body is different to the way you experience other people's bodies, so to speak. And this is really the point, is that when we refer to Hashem as Hu Yodea, Hu Mother, Hu Yodea, we're referring to the fact that we are a chelek of his goof. And in the same way that you know that you're cold, meaning it's not like a knowledge outside of you. It's not something else. It's you. That's how he knows us. Meaning he doesn't know of us, he knows us. From his perspective, we're a cell in his body. We're not something separate from him. So it's not like me knowing you. Yeah, I know you. There's me, knowing, and you. Three things. But when it comes to an experience in my body, there's just me, the sensation, etc. And that's all just one thing. Again, it's just a moshel. And that is, and I mean, but when you really plug it in and you think about this, it's amazing because that is Hashem's experience of us. That we are not something that he knows. It's his knowledge of himself through which he knows us, which means we are absolutely not something separate from him. Which means that when we are not aligned with his Ratzon, when we are not aligned with Torah and mitzvahs, we are like a cancerous cell in his body. Rahman al-Islam. We are like a dark, you know what we're like? It's a good mashal, like a dead pixel. The Rebbeinu is this magnificent picture on a screen, and you look and you see there's that one black pixel that drives you mad. It's always like right in the middle, like on the place where the face always is, on the nose or something. Yeah. That's it. That's when we're not aligned, when we're not pulling our weight. And you know, and you who does that affect the most? I mean, it affects Hashem infinitely, but you feel the fact that you're a dead pixel and you feel dead. And that's usually the cause of our anxiety, our depressions, our lack of energy, our apathy, our boredom, our tivers. It all comes from having become a black pixel. It compounds itself. The more, the deeper we serve, the more we dedicate ourselves to Him, Yisborach, the more everything falls into place. Not that you're doing it for that reason, it's just a byproduct, but it's pasha. I can tell you that from experience. The more you give yourself to Him, the more everything just falls into place. The whole world around you, to the point where you don't even see anything bad. He shields from you all bad stuff. Like you end up getting angry with people because they tell you bad news. You're like, why did you have to mention that to me? My life's gewoldig. Why did I have to hear that? I'm just saying that's what will be. It's that he like that's it. Every suffering, every ounce of suffering that we go through is to bring us back in line with him. That was the moshel by David and Melech, yeah, with Galias. There's two stories. There's David and Melech with Galias and Yosef going down to Mitzrayim. You know the stories? You know, Hashem made a nace by David when he killed Galias. You know what the nace was? Rashi says he threw a stone. Yeah, he did the thing with a stone and it hit Galias in the head and the helmet. Went through his helmet. Remember what the nace was? The nace was he fell forward. Man gets a bullet in the head, you fall backwards. But Hashem made a nace that Galias fell forward. Oh, great nace. Well done, Hashem. What's the point of that? And Rashi says that Galias was 10 amas high, and David had to go and cut his head off. So Hashem saved him a walk of 20 amas. He should have fallen back, but that wasn't in David's cheshbon. The tsaros that David had to go through in his life, yeah, Avshalom, Bathsheba, Michal, Yoav, he went through crazy tsaros, yeah, like unbelievable craziness, yeah, but he didn't have to walk an extra 20 amas. That's the cheshbon of the Rebbeinu Shalom. And again with Yosef. Yeah, look at Yosef when in the again Hashem made a nace because the Ishmaelim used to have like stinky caravans, yeah. And Hashem made it that he went with like balsam and all nice frankincense and stuff, yeah. And then you ask, he sat in a dungeon for 17 years. He went through Ashes Potiphar. He went through the sorrows of his brothers. He went through crazy, crazy things, years and years of suffering, yeah? But a 4-hour journey down to Mitzrayim, Hashem made sure he went with nice smells. That's an amazing Inyan. I'll tell you a personal story. I don't know if I told you this story. When I was in this was 5, 6 years ago, 7 years ago. My parents came to Israel and they brought my two sisters with their families. Our families were smaller, and we stayed at a simmer in like a cottage, like a big cottage in Beit Shemesh, yeah. And my knee, I've learned now it's gout, yeah. I didn't know that then, yeah. My knee locked, like it locked and it puffed up, and it was the most unbearable pain. Yeah. Since then, I've been through another few episodes of stuff like this, but it was it was malnourished to the point where after like 3 hours of suffering, I ended up getting an ambulance to the hospital. That was how bad it was. Yeah. But I remember it was so painful, but there were two things that were unbelievable. Is that this place was built like not like a lot of places in Israel are generally built very kind of makeshift and very kind of like Middle Eastern kind of like, this place was built with like oak wood, like solid. Everything was so solid that meant that I was able to hold on to like there was a bedpost and I was able to wrap my hand around a curtain and put all my weight on it and stand there for like 2 hours. Yeah, which reduced the pain, reduced the suffering. Plus, we had a freezer full of bottled water that hadn't frozen but was freezing cold. Yeah, like endless bottles, like, 30, 40 bottles. So I was able to sit there with someone, one of my family, pouring freezing cold water on my leg and holding this thing like that. And I just remember thinking to Ribono Shel Olam, I'm going through such suffering right now, but obviously there's a cheshbon, and you needed to reduce my suffering by this amount. And it gave me such chizuk to get through the whole Sipur. When you said, and this is the chizuk, yeah. When you're going through tsaros, and we all go through tsaros, whether it's shalom bayis or chinuch banim or mazon or panasa or whatever, sorry, or panasa, whatever the tsaros are, yeah, health issues. And there's always some little respite there's always that little that it could it only be for a little moment, yeah, but there's always something that just reduces the pain for a moment. Yeah, that's the bonus showing right there. Cup it and remember that the solace that you're going through right now is absolutely essential, and he's giving you to the absolute chut hasara mamash that you shouldn't just like imagine this. You're all powerful, yeah, and you're all good, and you've got a son, and you're trying to you want him to become absolutely Gavaldic. You want him to just to be to absolutely max out on his potential, yeah? And you've got access to all the everything in the whole world, everything in the whole wide world, yeah? And you can do whatever you want. But you know that the only way of pulling him into gear is by he needs to go through some heavy stuff right now because he needs to put himself into shape. And if I keep stroking his back like I've been doing for the past however many years, he's just going down and down. If I want him to really get on track, I've got no option. I've really got no option because he's not going to listen to anything else. I'm going to have to do some heavy stuff, yeah. But I'm not going to do a a nano drop more than what he needs. Not a nano drop more. That's such a chizuk. That is such a chizuk in this world. And when you see that he saved you, like, why did that have to go right? Look, everything's gone wrong. Yeah, 10 things out of 10 things have gone wrong, and the 11th thing goes right. Why did you do that, Hashem? Why was that? It should have all gone wrong, no? That's the chizuk. Always cut that little bit. It's like you can imagine when that happens, yeah, that's like Gullius just fell forward. Yeah. There was no reason why that should have gone wrong. It should have gone right. Everything's been going wrong. The fact that that's gone right there, that's that thing, that curtain that I was holding on to. That's Gullius falling forward. That's the caravan of incense. And even though Gullies falling forward was 20 Amma's walk in 70 years of suffering, and that 4 hour caravan ride, and with the nice smells, was 4 hours in many years of pain and suffering. But that's what reminds you, that's what you use to remind you that this is all on a cheshbon, on an absolute perfect cheshbon. And just like seeing your children, everyone who has kids, yeah, yeah, you're seeing your children suffer. Everyone knows this is the worst thing that you could ever go through. You would always rather suffer than see your children suffer. You would always rather be able to take on that suffering than have to watch them go through that suffering. And all the more so by the Rebbeinu Shalom with us. So I'm not quite sure how we got there, although that was quite important to say. But Hu Yodea, Hu Mother of Hu Yodea means that he is so close to us. Oh, we were talking about being the pixel on the screen and the suffering, and that the more we align ourselves with Ratzon Hashem, meaning the less lazy we become, the less depressed we become, or let's say the more we act with Jesus, and the more we try and inculcate ourselves with simcha, and the more we have hadras panim, and the more we try and smile, and the more we try and talk nicely to people, and the less lashon hara we speak, and all the picking up our game. And we know what we need to do to pick up our game. Everyone's got different stuff, and we've all got the same stuff as well. Yeah, all of that stuff means that you start to become that lit up pixel on the screen, and that's the point. Is you're not. It's not like there's you and God. You are a pixel on the screen, and Hashem is the screen. You are a cell in the body, and Hashem is the body. That is the ikka thing that we learn from Hu Yodea, Hu Mother, Hu Yodea. Okay, is that clear? Yeah, onward. Okay, so we've got Hester Panim, but we're going to get to that in Tzimtzum for Hester Panim. Okay, and now we have Hashem, the name. That's Hey, Hashem. Then after that, we've got Hashras Shechina and Ishtaushlus. So what is the Shem Hashem? But I've got an amazing, amazing marshal for it, Shem Hashem. And I just really got this recently. I don't know if you, Michael, you were at the Mishmar when you were at the, I don't know if you were there at the beginning though, when I said, or maybe it was, no, I think, no, it was the set. I think did you hear what I spoke about the low resolution image and the high resolution image?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is when you crunch it exactly. So this is, listen to this, yeah. I show the Yud K Vav K to my friend, my Goyish friend. What does he learn about God from that? Nothing. It's just a few scratches in a piece of paper. Nothing. But this is an amazing marshal for what the Yud K Vav K is. Is that you've got, so Michael, you heard this, but Mayor didn't hear this. Ben, did you hear this? Were you there at the no? So this is this marshal is, I got this actually from Jordan Peterson, um, and it is so helpful in so many places. He actually says it a lot, and it is so helpful in so many different um, in I hear Yitzi. It's you should know, Yitzi, the fact that we can't see your face, we're chassa. There's certain people's faces that it's better we don't see, but yours is one of the faces that we dafka want to see. Anyway, um, so this moshul is applicable in so many different places. Okay, so you've got a high res square picture. Okay, 8K image. Yeah, so like May, you got like a gigapixel. Yeah, you got like a let's say you got a billion pixels. Yeah, a super high, super crazy high definition image of, let's say, of mountains, yeah? So now you crunch down the definition. So it goes from a billion pixels, we crunch it all the way down to um, 20 million pixels. And for all intents and purposes, it doesn't look much different unless you really, really zoom in. But now let's crunch it down to a million pixels, yeah? Now it starts to take a little bit of a hit in its clarity. Yeah, now let's crunch it down to 250,000 pixels, meaning that for every 4 pixels, we make an average of 4 pixels. We turn those 4 pixels into 1 pixel. Yeah. So we go from 250,000 to 100,000. Now it's getting really pixelated. You can still see for sure 100% that it's mountains, but it's getting more and more low res. Yeah. There'll be there'll be a certain point where you won't be able to recognize that it's mountains anymore. You can dial the resolution down and down until you could actually come to a 1 pixel image, which would be an accurate average of those 1 billion pixels. You could average out 1 billion pixels, you would end up with 1 pixel, and that would be the correct average of all the pixels. But what do you see of the original picture? Nothing. But now let's go, so let's work it backwards, yeah? So now you've got that single 1 pixel, yeah? That's just like kind of, it's like a cool gray because it was mountains and it was the sky and whatever. So it's like a bluey kind of gray, 1 pixel, yeah. And now you turn that into 4 pixels. Again, you still don't see anything. Turn that into 16 pixels. You don't see anything. Once you turn it into 32 by 32, what is that? 1024. Yeah, that is the size, the regular size of an ICO file, which is an icon on your any icon on your screen, like the recycle bin or the your whatever it is. Yeah, that's around 1,000 pixels. So that you can see. But what happens if you blow that picture up? Like you take the recycle bin on your desktop and blow it up to the size of your desktop. Yeah, it's the you have to stand back. You have to go back and you see the same thing. Yeah. So there is a critical mass where the image now becomes recognizable um, as what it is. Now you can keep adding more and more resolution to the image. Yeah. And if you add more, whatever, then again, this is a big side that can go in many. I'll just give you a nice application of this. In learning Gamora, yeah, you're learning Gamora. Like right now, just got let me. Okay, I hear that. Um, in in um in learning Gamora, what they do a lot is Rav will bring a din. My yeah. Oh, you okay? I hear you. You're okay. My Ravel will propose a din. I'm learning right now about Chazaka. Yeah, I'm learning Baba Basra. So there's a din of Chazaka, and you need like 3 years. And then I think it's Rebbe Meir comes along and says, "Oh, that's just the same as a Shur Hamuad." that needs to do three gorings. Yeah. So just like Hazaka needs 3 years, Shormuad needs to be Nogech three times. Yeah. Okay. And then the whole Gemara, continues. But what the Gemara actually does to make that comparison, it needs to take the case of Chazaka and dial down the resolution, down and down and down and down until it just becomes like 3 years. There's loads of dinim to Chazaka. But what the Gemara did was it dialed down the resolution to just this bare minimum, and it also dialed down the resolution of Shor Hamuad until the Gemara says, "Look, they're the same. Shor Muad and Chazaka are the same." Because we dialed down the resolution so low that they appear to be the same. Now, what the Gemara will go and do now is it will start adding resolution to either image until it will either say, yeah, you're taka right, they're mamish the same, and all the extra resolution we're adding is very either logistical or situational or irrelevant, or it will say, no, look, it's not the same because of this. Shor Muad is there has to be Adim. By Chazaka, there doesn't have to be Adim. Oh, it's not the same picture. We break it. Okay? And we move forward. That's just a side point. That the Gemara is doing that all the time. All the time. So Shem Hashem, the actual Shem Hashem, is, so to speak, the lowest resolution image of the Rabbeinu Shalom. But everything is contained within that. The Shem Hashem is like, the Shem Hashem to Hashem is like your body to you. Your body is an accurate expression of you. It's not like, you've got your body and then your soul looks the same. It's your body is, so to speak, a projection of your soul. Your soul has 613 parts, 248 Evarim, and 325 Gidim. And so too your body has 248 Evarim and 365 Gidim. It has basa and or. It has gidim, and it has what else? It has dam. It has etzamois. It has moyach in the etzamois. Yeah, it has a marrow within the bones, etc. It's your body is a projection of your soul. So that means your soul is like not the negative, the positive, yeah, the slide. And your body is the picture projected on the wall. The slide is a bit you can't really well, I mean the moshel doesn't work so well because you can look at the slide. But the soul is really invisible and unknowable. Yeah. But projected on the wall, it looks like your body. That's the Shem Hashem. The Shem Hashem is everything. The Shem Hashem is another code word for creation. It's him coming out for the other. And that's why if there was no one in the world, you wouldn't need a name. If Adam didn't have Chava or anyone else, if there was just Adam, he wouldn't have needed a name. You only need a name for the other. So the whole inyan of creation is for the other by Hashem. It's him going out. That's what a name is. Your name is everything that you have and also everything that you do, but it's not you. And that's what we're looking forward to. B'yomahu yeh Hashem echad u'shmo echad, where who he is and what he does and how he behaves and what he has will all be one. And that's why the Baal Shem Tov is so deeply connected with Geula. Who is the Rebbe of the Baal Shem Tov?
HEH Shalom.
Yeah, Achia Shaloni. So who was Achia Shaloni?
He heard he heard Moshe Rabbeinu giving coming down with the Torah. He was at leaving Mitzrayim.
Yeah, that's what I always say. But there's another side to Achia Shaloni. You know where he was when that was when he was a kid. You know when he was older, who he was deeply involved with David Melech and Eliyahu Navi and Elia Cohen. He was of that chevra. That was before the base of Migdash was destroyed, yeah? That was Geula. We were living in Geula. So Achia Shaloini was a man of Geula. He knew what Geula was. He also knew what Galus was as well. But he knew what Geula was. And that's the whole Indian of the Baal Shem Tov, that the Baal Shem Tov is heralding in the Geula. So it makes sense that his Rebbe was an Ish Geula. And that's why he was called the Baal Shem Tov, the Baal Shem Tov. He was the master of the Shem Tov, meaning that is what Geula is when the Shem is Tov. Tov means transparent, surrendered, etc. Yeah. So when all what you are, all what you do is, sorry, when all what you have and all what you do is aligned with what you are, that's Geula. And that's B'yomahu yeh Hashem echad u'shmoi echad. He will be one and his name will be one. Meaning there will be an accurate representation. His name will accurately represent him. And how does that happen? By us, by Am Yisrael being the accurate pixel that we were created to be. Then he gets to be the picture that he wants to be. It's totally on us. So we're like, oh, Mashiach's going to come. You know, I hear people say it all the time, you know, oh, you know, all we want is Mashiach. That's, you know, oh, you know, it's like he'll fix all our problems. He's going to come with a magic wand. All of a sudden, my kids are going to have shidduchim. They're all going to be well behaved. There'll be loads of panasa. Yeah, everyone's going to get cured from sickness. Yeah. Okay, very nice. That might happen, but that's a very, very side point. The Geula means that the Ribono Shel Olam will finally be able to be himself. He's been like, you know, when you have to go to someone's house and you have to pretend to be so, or you're in like a business meeting, and you're having to pretend to be someone you're not, and you get out of there and you're like under your tongue, like, oh, thank God I'm out of there now. You know, like with with you when you go to put your kids in a Hasidic cheder in Yerushalayim, yeah, and then go and sit with the Rebbe and talk to him in Yiddish, like what I have to do, and you get out of there and you're like, oh, thank God it's finished. Baruch Hashem, you know, that's what Geula is. Geula is the Ribono Shel Olam taking his tie off and going, oh, at last, 5,785 years, and I can finally loosen my tie, take off my shoes, sit back, put my feet up. That's Hadon Raglov, by the way. That's his footstool. The base of Migdash is called his footstool. Yeah, we say that in the Kabbalah Shabbos, the Hadon Raglov. It's his footstool. Why? Because that's
Where
what
is that said? Where is it said in Kabbalah Shabbos? Where is that?
it's in. It's one before the end, no?
So it describes the base of Migdash as his footstool, and therefore the picture is Hashem putting up his feet up. That's like the end all.
That's it, exactly. There's the Kisei covered. What's the Kisei covered?
That's his throne.
Yeah, no, but what is it? That's the Moshel. What is it in the Nimshal? The Kisei. What's the world of the Kisei? The world of the Kisei is Bria. remember you've got the four worlds, yeah? Silas, Bria, Yetzirah, Sia. Yeah? But really, you've got like it divides like that. Yeah, you've got a Silas, which to call it a world is really a bit of a chutzpah. Yeah, we do call it a world, but it's so flimsy. It's so flimsy. It's so uncreated. It's not really calling it a world is like is a concession. Yeah, but then you've got Bria, Sia. Those are really they're one process. The difference between Atsilis and Bria is infinitely more than the difference between Bria and Asiya. The Bria, Yetzirah, Asiya are already outside of God, so to speak. So, so that's why it's called the Kisei. The Kisei are covered. Now, your covered is not something separate from you. You're covered, yeah, your honor, it kind of comes out of you like the rays of the sun come out of the sun. That's what your covered is. It's not like something separate from you. Your covered emanates from you. So it's called the Kisei covered. The Kisei is something separate from the Ribono Shel Olam, but it's for his covered, which is not something separate from him. That's at Silas. But his feet, the feet of his covered, the lowest level of what's kind of him, but it's not him mamash, but it is him. Yeah, whatever. Exactly. That's the moshel. That's the beauty of the moshel. Is you don't have to define it because you can't redefine it. So the lowest level of his covered is what rests on his footstool, which is the base of Migdash, which is the highest point of this physical world, the lower half of the world of Asiya. The highest point of the lower half of the gaseous half of the world of Asiya is the base of Migdash. So the feet of his covered rest on that. That's called Hashrasa Shechina.
Where is that in Kabbalah Shabbos? You said you were gonna.
Oh, so I have it in front of me here. Wait a minute.
Sorry.
No problem.
It's also interesting because many times you've said like, how could you learn Torah with your feet up, or how could you sit in front of Hashem with your feet up? And now you're giving us a mashal with his feet up.
He can for sure sit with his feet up. You can't sit with your feet up. You wait until you're in the kever to put your feet up.
What do you say? I'm waiting until what? What did you say?
Wait until you're in the kever to put your feet up. That's when you can put your feet up. Like the famous sign that I saw when I must have been 15 years old, and it's blazing in my mind. It was from The Economist. You know the magazine The Economist? Yeah, it was. I can't remember. I think I remember it being in Scotland or something. Oh no, no, yeah, no, wherever it was. It was like a three truck billboard. Like in America, you get that more often than in England. Yeah, like three billboards together. Yeah, it was massive, 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 and it was just red, pure red, with the words "Sleep when you're dead." That was it. And it's just blazing in my mind, blazing in my mind. That we should like so when you like to get to what is it? When you as you get more and more kadosh, sleep becomes more and more of an annoyance. Like it's something you have to kind of deal with. It's like, okay, it's a handicap. The less kadosh you are, the more of a pleasure it becomes. The more kadosh you get, the more of a handicap it becomes. Like, why do I want to be unconscious? Um, Where is it in Kabbalah Shabbos?
There's this website. It's an app. It's called Resort Pass, where you can get access to different pools, and people just sit by the pool and put their feet up for like a few hours.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Every now and again, you need to have a rest. But
There's also a counter movement where people are saying that sleep when you're dead is overrated and we shouldn't glorify the people that started that trend because sleep is very important. So
you have to sleep. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a handicap. It's like when somebody has to smoke. Like my
I
boy,
think
really, it was really good for my boys being in LA because now basically it's usher to smoke everywhere. Even in Magic Mountain, the whole of Six Flags, yeah, you're not allowed to smoke in the whole park, yeah. And everywhere you're going, like, and I said to them, it's like it's much like your handicap. Like, it's like I'm taking around these handicapped people with me, and everything we have to stand here and we have to walk out there, and it really affected them. It's like mama's a handicap. To smoke is a handicap. It's like it costs you a bunch of money. You have to keep taking a time out. You smell and all these kinds of things. In LA, it really made you realize that because it was so unsmoker friendly. It's so not designed for smokers.
well, Shmuel, smoking is linked to being unhealthy. I mean, sleep is healthy.
Yeah, but you don't what you're right, but you don't if I put it this way, you see, if you were to design yourself, would you design yourself that you had to sleep?
No.
Of course not. Would you design yourself that you have to breathe, that you have to drink, that you have to eat? You wouldn't design yourself with any of that. All of that, those are handicaps. They are put on us by the creator for his purposes. And you have to appreciate that. That's not, we don't want to eat, we have to eat. We have to stop eating. We have to eat less. Anyway, you see, I can't. You look for you. I'll find it, and
I don't want to put on tefillin, but I have to put on tefillin.
what?
I don't want to put on tefillin, but I have to put on tefillin.
No, that's the opposite.
Okay, my bad.
No, but that is healthy as well to say that. That I don't want to, but I'm still doing it.
Yeah, that is very healthy. Yeah, well, that means that the fact that you're doing it and you don't want to do it is a very that's a healthy sign. But you can work on that. You really can work on that to the point where you actually enjoy putting on tefillin, and you want to be sitting in tefillin. That can be done if you and I'll tell you, if you're a sensible normally person, you might as well do that because you have to put on tefillin anyway. So you might as well put in the work to get to enjoy it because you've got to like it or lump it. You've got to put on tefillin. Like that's what motivated me with putting so much energy into tefillah, into shachris, to the point where now I love davening shachris. And I didn't used to love davening shachris. Believe me, I hated it, yeah. But I figured at one point, I'm like, look, I'm gonna be doing this anyway, yeah. And I might as well like look, Lahavdil, go online and you can find out that people enjoy the most crazy things. You've got the whole Indian of, sadists and masochists and crazy people end up enjoying. So you can actually come to love anything. You can come to love getting whipped. Yeah, I'm just trying to say, I'm not saying that davening and putting on tefillin is like that. I'm not saying that bichlal. I'm just saying that you know that you can come to love anything. You understand what I'm saying? Mate, what's the funny face for?
Yeah, okay, so new. So is why how's that make it more the MS than anything else?
Well, if you've got to do it every day, then you might as well put in the work to get to the point where you're enjoying it. Because if you're just doing it the whole time, and it's no, but believe me, the reason why you're not enjoying it is because you haven't put the energy in to enjoy it. You've just been doing it. And in fact, it's probably if you're not putting the energy and the learning in to come to enjoy it, yeah, then it's probably actually getting darker and darker and more difficult. That's how it goes. Or it could just be that you just turn off and it just becomes like you're numb. Like a lot of people at Shachris, it's just like and it's just a numbness for like 35 minutes 40 minutes, just it's just a nothing time, just done. They don't like it, they don't hate it, they're not even aware of it. It's just something that they do, like they breathe. Yeah, okay, I mean that's maybe better than the pain.
So why don't you say the same thing about breathing and sleeping and eating?
What do you mean?
I don't know, put in the time, enjoy it.
Okay, look, halavai, I don't, I'm just saying as you get holier, sleeping becomes more of a thing that you want to try and cut down because you enjoy other things more. Not that you're not going to enjoy sleeping, not that you're not going to enjoy eating. And just that those are more difficult to not enjoy. But I'm you know hear what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying. I don't think it's a solid argument. I could say that I like to party so much that I hate that I have to sleep because I just want to party all day. And the fact that the party ends at 6 a.m. and I have to go crash until the next evening because I want to go back to the club is annoying. It's not
Yeah.
about holiness. It's just your argument's great, but you're arguing in favor of a direction. I'm not seeing a moral clarity on said direction coming from your argument.
I said
You're just
once you're taking deep pleasure from your avodas Hashem, which is not a small feat. That is not a small feat. That's a lot of work, and that doesn't come from learning Gemara. That's one of the issues. It doesn't come from learning Gemara. So you've got people dedicating many hours a day to learning Gemara, and they're not getting any pleasure in their Yiddishkeit because it comes from learning other Sfarim. And it comes from investing, especially for tefillah, investing in the actual avodah of tefillah, etc. Yeah. But all of these things can become a pleasure. And once the avoider becomes a pleasure, once you're having hana from wearing tefillin and you're having pleasure from davening shachris, imagine that having you're excited. You're excited to daven shachris. Yeah, you're excited to say Moida Ani in the morning, and you're excited to wash your hands Nagelvas in the morning. I'm telling you, this is all available, it's all possible. That's what I'm trying to say is then the sleeping part is like I'm exaggerating, but I'm trying to get the point over is that Yiddishkeit can be a deep pleasure, but you have to put in the work for it.
Yeah, but it's also just like you're saying there's a way to go about Judaism so that we can enjoy a 1 hour Shemona Esrei. There's also a way about Judaism where we could just enjoy a 20-minute davening, and then maybe one person's avodas Hashem is a 20-minute davening, and then he does chesed for 3 hours during the day, and another person's avodas Hashem is learning all day, and he davens shachris for 3 hours. So why does it have to be that the higher you go on kedusha, then you achieve black and white and a long beard? Why can't it be that everybody does things differently? Why can't it be?
No, they do. I agree with you. But what I'm trying to say is just it's situational. You have to daven shachris. Whether you're a Baal Chesed, a Baal Tzedakah, or a Baal Torah, or a Baal Avoda, whatever you do, you're Jewish, you have to daven shachris, you have to put on tefillin. So those standard avodas, you might as well put in the energy to enjoy them. It's just a sense. I'm just talking sense here, man. As I'm just talking sense. I have to go. Shkoyach. That was a big class.
So yes, everybody, thank you.
I just have one question. So, does this apply to all the names of Hashem?
That's a fantastic question. Yes and no.
Okay.
Okay, to be continued.